June the 3rd of 2001, we started our first church service here in the living room here in the 1704 treehouse. And interestingly, we had moved in, bought it May the 15th, and moved in like only a few days earlier. In fact, most of the house is still in boxes, but we felt like, an urgency to get going. And so the first picture we have of our first service, I set the camera on the bar.
Yeah, you set it on the bar. We all you run to the couch.
Yeah.
Took a picture, and that was our first picture.
I knew, intuitively, I guess, you're not going to grow a church in the living room, and you're not going to, the fishbowl syndrome is real. If you outgrow a building and you don't do something, you're not gonna continue to grow. It was so crazy because I'm standing there teaching a Bible study. I think it was.
So then we just drove right down the road to this office building here.
Yeah.
I think when we got here, you were always looking for another place
Yeah.
to have service. It wasn't like we're in our living room. We're going to stay here until a magic number or anything. It was just, we were always looking for the next step. This was Victory 2.
The guy I met here, I was doing air conditioning work, and he owned some real estate that I was trying to get to do the work for. And I asked him if he had a building, and he said he'd have to talk to his wife. And they got back with me and said, yeah, they've got a building, and the rent was on it was, I think it was $1,200 if I remember correctly, but we only had $400. And she said, I don't know what to charge you. It's normally $1,200. What can you afford? And I said, that's not your building. I remember, this is your building. You tell me. And she got down to $400, and I said, I can afford that. So we got the building for $400.
Yeah.
You'll get over it.
Hey man, it's good to meet you. I've seen you before. 2000, I walked in here, this was a furniture store, and I told the lady that owned it, Kathy Sarandis, I said, Kathy, this needs to be a church. And she had full furniture. And she said, no, it's not going to be a church because we just signed a 2-year lease. And I said, no, it needs to be a church. And she said, what kind of church? And I told her Pentecostal church. She goes, I grew up Pentecostal. She named off people that I knew. And she said, but we're not leasing it. We're not subleasing it. I said, oh, come on. So I left. 3 weeks later, she come into the church that we were leasing and said, you can have your building. We found another building. You can have it. She paid our first month's rent, our deposit, and I believe our second month's rent. And so we had church in here for like.
Yeah, I heard it was.
Yeah, I even put that trim up. I couldn't believe that. And that was a miracle too, because I could not do trim for couldn't save my life to do trim.
This was our youth room, but back then this was a wall. So you entered through that door right there. And then where the bakery was our little toddler.
I remember when Doug Rochelle called, an elder, and he wanted to know if we was willing and able to do a church in a day. And it was so funny because we had a banner up in the church over off Brothers that said Vision 60, and we were only running about 45. But,
or less.
Or less, actually.
Probably.
At that point, we were running less. And I said, sure. And he said, you got to have you have to have land paid for, you have to have utilities in, paid for, and you have to have, I think it was 45 people, something like that. And he said, can you do it? And without even really looking at the cost, I just said yes. March the 18th of 05 is when we got church in a day. And we moved into it, and we've got pictures of it. Almost exactly 6 months into it, I actually have the date. Almost exactly 6 months later, we built wings on the side because our building was full.
Yeah.
Now we're at the point to where we've outgrown all of this. The building is full, classrooms are full.
And we're in need of another miracle. And we've had miracles all along the way, so I haven't even stressed because I'm like,
God can do it.
He
God
does
can
what
do it.
he does best, and he does what he wants to do when he wants to do it, and we're just here to serve the Lord.
I think there's times that you just know it's time. It's time. It's time
Yeah.
to go to the next step.
Yeah,
Here
so-
we are, full, classrooms full, out of space, out of land, and it's time to go to the next level.
Yes.
And again, it comes back to faith, humble, honest, obedient, sacrificial faith.
Yep.
Get out there and put your hand to the plow, work, do whatever it takes to get it done.
Right.
And then again, do your best
Yeah.
and let God do the rest. And that's where we're
Amen.
at. I think that's where we're at.
Yep. That's where we're at.
We've reached a problem, but it's a good problem to have. We've seen so many things grow here in the 15 years I've been a part of Victory. Our children's program, our youth group, our young adults, the students that attend Texas A&M. It's a wonderful thing to see, but we're out of space. It's hard to find a seat on Sunday morning. Parking's getting tight. It's time to grow. What can you do? What can I do? What can we do together to watch the kingdom expand through Victory Church?
Through the years, Victory Church has valued our community impact. With that, we've had an amazing care team that's been active with BCS Together, Aggieland Pregnancy Outreach, Disaster Relief, and now we're even moving into Pathways Recovery and other programs that will lead us into the future as we take this next step. I believe God's going to do some amazing things.
So what's the next step? The next step is where the culture and community of Victory Church really shines. Us believing, praying, giving, and working together. We're not just building a building. We're not just moving to move. We're making room for our neighbors. We're making room for our families. We're making room for new testimonies and new miracles. We're making room to impact our community in ways that we never thought of before. We're making room to let Jesus work. And let's see what God can do in the Brazos Valley. So join us as we start this new journey and take the next steps for the future of Victory Church.